recall roughly from 12:30 p.m. to about 1:45 p.m. Having a lunch that essentially consisted of leftovers from Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving meal. What we had for the lunch with my mom's mom. Mom prepared some turkey sandwiches by putting turkey between two slices of bread and putting in some mayo, and some mayonnaise, using mayo, bread, and leftover turkey. The turkey sandwiches are always good. And it's a great Thanksgiving tradition. Along with the turkey sandwiches, we also had all of the leftover deviled eggs. Though Grandma got most of the leftover deviled eggs. Out of around 24 leftover deviled eggs, I just had 4. And I think my mom had either none or just 1 of the leftover deviled eggs. After the turkey sandwiches and deviled eggs, we had some of the leftover leftovers from the pies Mom made for Thanksgiving. I had slices from the pecan. I had one of the pecan slices, and yeah, I had two of the apple crumble slices. Though I only took a picture of the pecan slice I had in the first apple crumble slice. After the lunch, I recall roughly from 2 p.m. to about 4:15 p.m. The four of us sat in the living room at Grandma's place. Sitting together while Grandma told stories regarding the family. Interesting stories regarding family members on Mom's side, including me. And the rest of us reacting to those interesting stories. Some of these stories took place relatively early in my life, while others took place early in my mom's life or relatively early in my grandmother's life. Some of them were funny. And others pretty sad. Well, but they were all pretty interesting, and yeah, it was a good time. Afterwards, roughly from 4:30 p.m. to about 5:15 p.m., We helped get some toy dolls loaded into the trunk of my mom's car. The dolls that a family member used to own. That had been in Grandma's garage, for a long time. The ones that got loaded into my mom's trunk were the ones Grandma wanted to give away for the upcoming Pirate Toy Fund. Primarily so they would be played with again, and partially so they would be played with again, and partially to make space for other stuff, so that there's sort of an empty shelf within the garage. Then we drove after that and after Grandma gave to me a coat that used to belong to another family member, a different family member from the one that used to own the dolls. Which were still in their original packaging. Most of them having never been opened. At all. Mom drove me and my sister to a different town from the one we went to visit Grandma. We went to a slightly bigger town in order to briefly visit another family member, different from the one that owned the coat that was given to me today, and different from the one that used to own the dolls that we loaded into my mom's trunk, the trunk of her car. We briefly visited that family member at her business. That seems to be what I would describe as a boutique. And during the visit, and Mom gave me some cash to get 4 Texas Hots. And a jar of their sauce. Though at the time, they didn't have any jars. So that sauce was instead, the jar of sauce was instead put into a styrofoam bowl. A styrofoam bowl with a plastic lid put on top. After we got back home, me, my mom, and my sister, my dad came over. And roughly from 7:45 p.m. to 8:45 p.m., we had Thanksgiving leftovers. Including towards the end some crackers and cheese. Though in my case, I had the usual cracker sandwiches. As for the slice of pizza I just had, at no point did we get that pizza from Mark's Pizzeria today. That slice was part of the medium meat lovers from when we got Mark's Pizzeria some days ago. I recall having essentially a splash of the hot pink wine and a little of what was left of an aluminum can of 90-minute IPA during the first hours of today. As the former was the wine was in a clear plastic cup, while the beer was in an aluminum can, one of those typical 12-ounce ones, 16-ounce ones. I'm leaning towards 16. That had been left open for a number of hours and left away out from any refrigerator. I recall waking up for today around 9 in the morning when I meant to wake up around 8 in the morning. Instead, waking up at 9 in the morning because I somehow slept through an alarm I set on my laptop using a third party website. Either I truly slept through it or it didn't go off for some reason. Even though I recall doing everything I was supposed to do at the time,